Wow, what a day. XRP is clearly sending signals that it wants to climb higher, and I can't wait to share some insights with you. I've gathered perspectives from 10 or 11 different XRP chart analysts, and guess what? They're all on the same page about this. As we dive deeper, we'll get a better sense of the timing, but one thing is clear. This has been a strong, impulsive move for Bitcoin. This isn't just a slow, steady climb. It's something much bigger. Now, I'm not a chart expert myself, and I'm definitely not claiming to predict the future, but when Bitcoin hits a key level that so many analysts have been talking about, around $112,000, 0 cents, wow, talk about a big jump. In just a day, it shot up to a new all-time high of $116,828, 0 cents. That's nearly a $5,000, 0 cents increase overnight. Now, that's what you call an impulsive move, but let's keep it real. This doesn't mean it's going to keep climbing in a straight line forever. Markets just don't work that way. There will be pullbacks, some dips here and there, but this is still the real deal. Looks like those analysts who said we wouldn't have a boring summer were absolutely right. This kind of action is rare for the summer, except in the fourth year of a market cycle. And as history has shown us, this pattern happens like clockwork every single time. If it didn't happen this time, then maybe things would be different. But let's be honest, those are often famous last words. Personally, I don't think this time is all that different. And that's actually exciting, not because I'm overly hyped about Bitcoin right now. Yes, I hold Bitcoin and I'm glad I bought it early on when it was as low as $3,200. I've held on to it since, and I'm happy I did. But to me, the real story is in altcoins. I'm especially interested in XRP because I believe it's going to outperform Bitcoin in a big way. By the time this cycle ends, I think XRP will have left Bitcoin far behind in terms of performance. It won't even be close. And as for the next leg up, some people think it's already started. So yeah, XRP was on the move too. But before we dive in, I just want to be upfront with you. I don't have any kind of financial background. This isn't financial advice, and you definitely shouldn't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say here. As I'm recording this, it's July 10th, 2025. And guess what? XRP is sitting at $2.55. Just before I hit record, it even spiked to $2.59. Love to see it. Crazy, right? Not too long ago, it was hovering close to $2. Look at this. Oh, wow. I almost forgot. Back on June 22nd, less than a month ago, it was at $1.93. And now $2.55 and climbing. This is exactly why, after I accumulate, I just sit tight. Crypto is all about riding out the ups and downs. Volatility is part of the game. But here's the thing. I truly believe this is going much higher, is going to transform so many lives, including mine. That's the goal, right? Hey, check this out. Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high. Pretty exciting, right? XRP is on the move. And honestly, altcoins in general have been doing really well lately. It's great to see them trending upward, which is exactly what you want. Bitcoin dominance has been dropping over the past few days. Another good sign, while XRP dominance keeps climbing. That's what we like to see. Oh, and the S&P 500 hit a new all-time high yesterday and then did it again today. Yes, you read that right. This is the official White House account we're talking about. Yes, that White House, with 2.2 million followers sharing this image. They captioned it, "Panikin's hardest hit." Now, if you're wondering what's a panikin, well, it's a term President Donald J. Trump came up with this year to describe someone who panics easily. The image is pretty funny, actually. It shows a bear, yes, an actual bear, presumably the bearish kind, if you catch my drift, in his cozy little home. But the markets are so green right now that the glowing green light is literally pouring through his windows, totally taking over his space. And this bear, he's not having it. He doesn't like green, so he's rushing to close the curtains to block it out. The White House sharing this to hype up the markets, it's definitely getting everyone a bit jazzed. Honestly, what a wild, fascinating world we're living in right now. Check out this post from chart analyst Detective shared with his 534,000 followers on X. He's talking about altcoins here and calling it an altcoin expansion signal. By the way, he posted this at 2:57 p.m. Central Time. You'll want to look at the chart he shared to really follow along, but here's the gist. The yellow area on the chart represents the accumulation base. Then he explains that a crossover marks the expansion signal. And get this, he says this signal only happens once every 5 years and has never been wrong. He points out that we've just crossed above that level, which is a big deal. This is the expansion signal, and as we know, the market tends to move in sync. Oh, and if you're wondering what's going on with Bitcoin after that massive surge to nearly $117,000, are people rushing to sell and lock in profits? Surprisingly, not really. It seems like the market's still holding strong. Check out this post from on-chain analytics firm Santiment. Even if Bitcoin isn't your thing, this is still worth paying attention to because Bitcoin sets the tone for the entire market. Here's why. If Bitcoin keeps climbing and people aren't selling at these price levels, it signals that the market is strong. Sure, it won't go up in a perfectly straight line, but if holders are sticking with it even after this price bump, chances are it's heading higher. And here's the best part. When Bitcoin rises, it usually brings more money into the market, which eventually flows into altcoins too. The whole market moves together. So even if you're not holding Bitcoin, this still matters. It's all connected. Check this out. Sentiment just shared some exciting news. Bitcoin hit another all-time high, skyrocketing to a market value of $113,923 just 30 minutes ago. He posted this at 1:37 p.m. Central Time today, so it's likely climbed even higher since then. Here's the interesting part. Even with Bitcoin's impressive 13.6% price jump since its June 22nd local low, traders aren't rushing to dump their coins on exchanges to sell. Instead, the trend shows more and more Bitcoin holders moving their coins into self-custody wallets. Sounds like people are playing the long game here. In just the past 4 months, we've seen 315,830 Bitcoin leave exchanges. A 21% drop. And if we look back even further to July 2020, the shift is even more dramatic. A whopping 1.88 million Bitcoin have moved off exchanges, marking a massive 61% decrease. What does this trend mean? Well, it's a strong signal that more people are keeping their Bitcoin in personal storage rather than on exchanges. This reduces the risk of sudden market crashes and shows that long-term investors are feeling confident about holding onto their coins for the long haul. But here's the thing, at some point, the price will get high enough that even those long-term holders will start moving their Bitcoin back onto exchanges to sell. When that happens, it's a key sign we're nearing the peak of this Bitcoin cycle. It's a pattern we've seen every cycle, and it's something to keep an eye on as the market evolves. When the prices start going up, the whales begin to offload their assets. It's a pattern we've seen again and again. As I've been mentioning throughout this year, whales have been quietly stocking up on XRP and Bitcoin. But here's the thing, when prices rise and retail investors start jumping in at the worst possible time, the whales are cashing out and taking profits. This is actually a sign that we're nearing the end of the cycle, and timing is everything here. You don't want to get caught off guard or hold on too long, only to see things come crashing down. If you're thinking about selling and wondering if you might be holding on for too long, don't worry. I'll be diving into this kind of info in detail on this channel. This morning at 11:07 a.m. Central Time, the blockchain backer shared an interesting post about the Russell 2000 small cap stocks. Why does this matter? Because when the Russell 2000 takes off, altcoins tend to follow. Here's the deal. We've never had an alt season without strong breadth in the stock market. It makes sense. If investors feel confident taking risks in stocks, they often carry that same mindset into crypto. It's all connected, and history has shown this pattern time and time again. In his post, the blockchain backer highlighted the Russell 2000 breaking out and later reposted saying, "Lock this in your head at this exact moment. The Russell 2000 just cleared 702. Not long after this kind of breakout, Bitcoin has historically hit new all-time highs. And isn't it fascinating how everything seems to line up? The answer is a big yes. Here's a post from Credible Crypto about Bitcoin, and it's an interesting one. What's he talking about here? I'll be honest, I'm not going to dive into every detail, but I've shared this post before. Back on July 7th, he pointed out something worth noting. At the time, he wasn't sure if Bitcoin was about to break out, but he highlighted that based on the structure, there was a solid chance we could see it continue upward. That's why he jokingly said it's illegal to short Bitcoin. Basically, it's his fun way of saying it might not be the smartest move to bet against Bitcoin right now, because there's a good chance it could keep climbing. Of course, he wasn't guaranteeing anything. He didn't know for sure. So he figured there was a good chance we'd see a pullback, since that's usually what happens. But instead, we got the continuation. That's why he was cautioning people. He knew it was a possibility. He didn't know for sure, but he's sharp. So he put the warning out there just in case. Then after today's big Bitcoin move, he joked, illegal? Is it illegal to short Bitcoin here? Honestly, I wouldn't mess with that kind of fire either. Plus, I'd never use leverage. It's just not my thing. I think it's a risky game and most people end up getting burned by it. The only ones who can really handle it are the rare few pro traders who know exactly what they're doing. And let's be real, that's almost nobody. But hey, hats off to those who can pull it off. Check this out. Another great post, this time from Credible Crypto. While this move is exciting, it's important to keep things in perspective. There's no need to FOMO into positions right now. A lot of altcoins are sitting in higher time frame regions where it makes sense to start accumulating. Bitcoin, however, isn't in that position at the moment. The real opportunity for gains lies with altcoins, even though Bitcoin might be leading this move. That's exactly what I've been saying. Altcoins like XRP offer the real potential right now. I do feel for those who are new and end up buying into the hype pushed by toxic Bitcoin maximalists, you know, the Bitcoin is the chosen one narrative. Don't fall for it. It's a bit of a missed opportunity, honestly, because right now the real potential is with altcoins. Let's face it, even if Bitcoin somehow doubles from here, which, let's be real, is pretty unlikely, though sure, it could happen. That's still just a 2x. Now, think about altcoins. It wouldn't take much for something like XRP to double, triple, or even quadruple in value. I'm not saying I know exactly what's going to happen with XRP prices, but here's the thing. It requires way less money to flow in for those big multiplier effects to kick in. That's the beauty of it. It's a smaller market, so the gains can be huge with just a little momentum. It's pretty obvious when you think about it. Here's a cool update from Credible Crypto featuring an XRP BTC chart. In his latest analysis, he points out a trend line, marked in black on the chart, where XRP kept bumping up against resistance on the XRP BTC pair multiple times. Each time it hit the line and got rejected, the resistance weakened a bit more. Well, guess what? This time, XRP finally broke through that resistance. It's something he's been anticipating, and it's exciting to see it play out. Oh, and with every update, he's been sharing that hilarious "You Shall Not Pass" meme from Lord of the Rings, or as he jokingly calls it, Dork Quest. So that's the whole Dork Quest thing he's working on. He's even got another Dork Quest meme up on the screen right now. This time it went through. It says, "Fly, you fools." And he added, "The great Gandalf has fallen." Now, on to XRP. It's breaking out against Bitcoin. By the time this cycle is over, it's going to crush Bitcoin. Honestly, I'm pretty confident about that happening. Chart analyst Zoom even shared an update pointing out that XRP DTC had a daily close above resistance after nearly 50 days. He's been tracking it just like a ton of other analysts, and finally, it's broken above that trend line. This is a big moment, folks. Exactly the kind of action we've been waiting for. Check this out. Chart analyst Zoom shared an XRP USD chart and pointed out something exciting. XRP is doing exactly what was expected with the breadth opening up. He highlighted XRP breaking out of a symmetrical triangle, which is something every chart analyst following XRP is watching closely. Seriously, everyone's talking about it. And here's another one. Chart analyst Sistine Research also shared an XRP USD chart. And guess what? Same story. Symmetrical triangle breakout. She didn't even type anything except XRP USD, just pointing out what we can all see right here. It's breaking out. Anyone who follows charts has noticed this. This is real strength, my friends. If you've made it through the accumulation phase, congratulations, because it looks like the fun is just getting started. Like I always say, you never know which day it's going to happen. One day you wake up and boom, it's happening. Today was one of those days, but here's the thing. We're not done yet. The best is still ahead, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm so glad to be here for this with all of you. Here's a post from chart analyst X-Force Global about the XRP USD chart. He's saying things could get crazy and parabolic for XRP very soon, like it could happen any moment now. And honestly, that's exactly what I've been saying all along. You don't need to be a finance expert to see it. I'm not one, and I totally get it. I'm just a regular person like you, a community member, nothing fancy about me just because I have a YouTube channel. And that's the point. If someone like me can do this, so can you. Seriously, anyone can. And no, I'm not here to sell you a course or anything like that. I'm just telling it like it is. You buy, you hold, and over time, it can change your life. That's it. Simple, real, and doable. Honestly, that's it. If you want the truth, here it is. You don't need to spend money on courses to make it big in crypto. The key? Do nothing. Sounds simple, but staying patient is harder than most people think. He's got a point here. XRP could go parabolic. Things might start getting crazy for XRP really soon. And I agree. We're living in the moment. And when he says it could happen any day now, I think he's spot on. One day you'll wake up and boom, it's taken off. Check this out. Crypto Wizard, the chart analyst, just shared his XRP USD chart. And wow, he nailed it. XRP is skyrocketing after breaking out of the falling wedge, just like he predicted. We're already up 18.43%, and it's heading straight for $2.80. Once it breaks $2.80, we could see a new all-time high. Another analyst has also pointed out that XRP has broken above a key trend line, which only adds to the excitement. It feels like there's no stopping it now. New all-time highs are on the horizon. Sure, it's technically possible, but I'd say there's just a small chance. Single digits at best. Honestly, it's so clear when you look at the trends, global liquidity, and everything I've been pointing out recently. It couldn't be more obvious. So big props to you for being here and staying informed. Most people aren't paying attention. Some haven't even heard of XRP yet, but you're miles ahead of the game. Seriously, you're positioning yourself way ahead of the crowd. Keep it up, my friends. Check this out. Chart Analyst Crypto just shared a post predicting XRP is heading to $2.90. He's also pointing out how XRP is broken above this trend line. Seriously, I wasn't kidding when I said everyone's either charting this or talking about it. XRP has officially broken out. And honestly, it's not that surprising, right? The market's heating up. Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high and everything's lining up perfectly. Check out this post from chart analyst Z-Grade Crypto on the XRP USD chart. He's breaking down what's happening right now and comparing it to past market cycles, especially 2017 and 2018. His question for everyone, are you ready? When the hype kicks in, it'll feel like the market will never go down. But here's a tip. Use the dumb and smart indicator. If you're feeling like a genius, it might be time to sell. If you're feeling pretty dumb, that's often the moment to buy. Here's the thing. When you're buying stuff during the tail end of a bull market and you don't realize it's the tail end, it's easy to feel like a genius. Everything's going up. You buy something and suddenly it's worth double or triple the next day. Feels amazing, right? But that's exactly when you should be cautious, not overconfident, because this is what happens at the end of a market cycle. Now, on the flip side, if you're feeling kind of dumb about buying, it's probably because you bought something and then the market dropped. Maybe you bought more and it dropped again and you're sitting here thinking, wow, I'm terrible at this. But guess what? You're not. That's actually the right time to accumulate. It's called a bear market. Right now, we're not in a bear market, so just stay sharp and be careful out there. There's definitely still opportunity if you're looking to make some purchases now, but it's not exactly the ideal time to buy. We've seen months of accumulation, and while a lot of things haven't skyrocketed yet, this isn't the best buying moment. Don't get me wrong. There are chances to jump in if you're in the mood to buy. That said, it's usually smarter to go big during the heart of a bear market. And trust me, you'll know when you're in one. I'll be here when the next bear market rolls around because it will eventually. And honestly, I'll be excited for it. That's why I'll scoop everything up at bargain prices and do this whole cycle all over again. We'll hang out, share this journey, and before you know it, years will pass, and then another bull market will come around. And guess what? We'll do it all over again and go even further. The best part, you can absolutely do this too. Honestly, there's nothing special about me. I have zero financial background, none. Just like many of you, I decided to dive in. For me, it started back in 2017 and it really works. There's no big secret. I buy things and then I do nothing. Some people like to overcomplicate things, but it doesn't have to be that way. A good tip, focus on large cap stuff. The market has already done the vetting for you and decided those make the most sense. So to sum it up, that's basically the gist of it. Anyway, back to technical analysis. On the 2-week time frame, XRP's historical patterns suggest a massive move often happens right after it bounces off the 21 EMA, and it happens quickly. Looking at past data, during cycle 1, there was a 1,400% increase. He's referring to how after the accumulation phase ended, things really took off following the first big pump. Back in late 2017 into early 2018, XRP saw some wild growth. Cycle 2 was up a massive 455%. Then, when averaged out, it hit about 924%. If history repeats itself, this could potentially take XRP to around $30, $11, or an average of $20. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see double-digit price action again. What's even crazier is that during the last cycle, while XRP was under attack by the US government, it still managed a 20x increase from its lowest to highest point. Think about it. It went from just $0.10 to $2 all while facing that kind of pressure. That's incredible. If that doesn't show how much demand there is for XRP, I don't know what will. Check out this post from chart analyst Dark Defender about the XRP USD chart. The strength is currently at the same level it was back in November, and it looks like XRP hasn't even gotten started yet. Exciting times ahead. Dark Defender points out that XRP has broken above the same trend line all the analysts are highlighting. What he's saying is the real fun hasn't kicked off yet. It's looking a lot like November all over again. And remember what happened in November. XRP skyrocketed, hitting a new all-time high on January 16th at $3.40. It was on fire. The best part? It's not done yet, folks. Check out this post from chart analyst XRPunky. He points out that while we're all excited about XRP's recent pump, the key zone to watch is $2.90 to $2.90. Once we break through that, it could mean a full reversal and even a new all-time high. And guess what? July through August is shaping up to be absolutely explosive. He's even calling for double digits, $10, $15. Crazy, right? What's even wilder is how some analysts predicted this. They pointed out that in the fourth year of a bull cycle, summers are anything but boring. It's the only time we usually see exciting price action during these months. And this year is proving them right. Get ready. July and August could be huge. Yeah, that makes sense to me. If it didn't happen this time, now that would have been surprising. Someone asked him, do you think XRP could hit $50 this cycle, or is that a stretch? And XRPunky replied, I don't see $50 XRP this cycle. Honestly, I'm so glad he said that, because realistically, I think there's almost a 0% chance of XRP reaching $50. Not that it couldn't happen someday in the future. I'm not even ruling out the possibility of 3-digit XRP eventually. Who knows? It could happen. But $50 this cycle, that feels like a big reach. Let's just wait and see if XRP ever hits $10 or $20 and bet people will start calling for $100, even $200 XRP. The hype will be real and a lot of folks might get caught up in it, buying in and later regretting it. Honestly, I just don't see it happening. If I'm wrong and XRP shoots up to $50, I'll gladly admit it. No ego here. I'll hold my hands up and say, wow, I didn't see that coming. But for now, I really don't think that's the case. Hey everyone, just wanted to share an update from chart analyst Dom on XRP. After taking a month off, Dom came back strong and absolutely nailed the trend. The reversal idea played out perfectly. Right now, resistance isn't super clear at these levels, so the key thing to watch is for the $2.40 range to hold as support. Dom posted this update at 8:53 p.m. Central, which was about 3 hours ago, and we're still holding strong. In fact, as I'm wrapping up this video, XRP is sitting comfortably at $2.57. What a time to be holding XRP. Seriously, this is just incredible. I'm having such a blast watching all of this unfold. Please tell me you're enjoying this as much as I am. Moments like these only come around every few years. This is the time to get excited and have some serious fun. And by that, I mean the kind of fun that's about to happen when XRP finally moves into price discovery for the first time in over 7 years. Yep, it's been about 7.5 years since we've seen XRP in true price discovery mode, and it feels like the moment is finally here. The real fun, of course, will be when XRP absolutely takes off and blows everyone's minds. That's going to be epic. But even now, this part is pretty exciting too, because you can feel it coming. If you're paying attention, it's so clear. This is happening. All right, I'm wrapping up here, but I love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. I'm excited to see what you're thinking. Honestly, this feels like such an incredible time to be an XRP holder. Just a quick reminder though, I'm not a financial advisor, so definitely don't make any buying or selling decisions based solely on what I say. Always do your own research.